So this is actually a follow-up video to the last one. Some of you may have noticed there was another possible issue that I didn't mention. This relates to Airbricks and raised ground levels. So it was in that property, it's a Victorian, Edwardian sort of era. And if we have a look at what was going on elsewhere in the property, there was another second issue. So what we can see, when we're looking at the front of the property, we've got this airbrick around the bay window. We can see the airbrick there, but as we follow around, what we can actually see as we move along, where we've got this driveway, the level of the driveway gets higher and higher, and as we get halfway around this wall, the airbrick is actually half blocked up. And then we get into this porch area, and we can see one of the airbricks that would have originally been on an external wall, but it's actually been blocked in by the porch, so there's not going to be any airflow apart from during the short periods where this is opened up. So we're walking across now, timber suspended floor, and then when we go into the kitchen, which is a more modern extension, this is a solid floor. So there's an area where the damp-proof course is going to be potentially bridged by this concrete floor. There's no airbricks there. It's not been continued through, which should ideally happen. But then round the back of that office again, that's the suspended floor, but there's no airbrick there. And again, the ground level has been raised so much that if there was an airbrick, that's probably now below ground. We can see an airbrick there, but that's not directly related. And then we've got this whole timber suspended floor here, and there's not really any cross ventilation across any of this suspended timber area. If we go back outside, what we can then see back in this area, ideally at the very minimum, if there's ventilation on the wall, the left hand side or behind us now, if there was some sort of ventilation here where we've got this PVC door combination frame, if there was some way for air to flow through, it would allow a little bit of air movement. But ideally, there should be a gap of 75 millimetres at least between the bottom of an airbrick and the ground level. In this case, there's not that gap, so that means two things can happen. One, water can just run directly into the airbrick and then get more water into the subfloor void, but it also limits the airflow. So here, although we can see it, we can actually see that the ground level, even in this area, has been raised. So ideally, the ground level should be a little bit lower to where I've just dug down there. Consideration should also be given to reopening the airbricks on the rear side of this wall at the back, and where the concrete floor has been installed, if the buyers in this case are concerned about those areas, then it's not an insignificant amount of work to extend it, the ventilation, so that then there's good airflow. Alternatives could possibly include mechanical ventilation of the subfloor void to reduce the risk of any damp issues and degradation, rot of the timber floor in this area.